Hey everyone, I'm Greg Jones for Engine Builder. Welcome to another episode of Industry Insiders. Today I'm joined by Monster Jam driver Kayla Blood. She drives Soldier Fortune in the Stadium Series Yellow. Kayla, thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm pretty excited about this interview with you guys and talking to you guys.
Yeah, well, like I was saying before we got started, it's always fun talking to Monster Jam drivers. You guys, jet set around the country and around the world, and you obviously put on an awesome show. So it's always fun to cover what you guys are up to because it certainly changes every single time I talk to somebody.
Absolutely. Every year we're growing. We're able to get to more places and give the fans Monster Jam and make memories for all the families all over the place. And they love it and they come back again and again and again. So it's been a dream come true and it's been an awesome ride so far.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Kayla, before we get a deep dive into your Monster Jam, experience and your driving, I wanted to start with your background because you actually have a pretty eclectic background in terms of what you've done in your life and in other aspects of your career. So I wanted to start with the fact that you're a veteran. Do you want to talk a little bit about your service and what you did?
So my time in the military, I joined the Louisiana National Guard and I was enlisted for 6 years. So within that time, I was able to grow and build myself in my career at Camp Beauregard in Pineville, Louisiana. I was a part of the 244th Aviation Unit out there at Essler Field. So I really enjoyed being in the aviation unit, being around all the helicopters and everything that was going on. And so whenever I did join the military, going into military was something that I always kind of wanted to do, but kind of had dreams of doing track and running track and kind of going forward in that. So yeah, I had to reset and choose a different path, and that's what I chose. And I didn't really get a chance to go overseas and do anything like that, but I did really enjoy my time in the military. I was able to work force protection, work the front gate, and just be really involved with it. It was really awesome. I had my little boy coming out of the military. So, like I said, it kind of got me to the next chapter of my life. Whenever I went to the military, I kind of honestly didn't know what I was doing or where I was going at that point with my track career coming to an end. So, I'm very thankful for what that did for me and where it got me in the next level of my career.
Yeah, yeah. And how long did you serve for?
So I served for 6 years.
Okay.
And like I said, in that time, I was able to work on post and be active and never really go overseas, but I did get time, to work on post. So that was pretty cool to just be involved and actually go to boot camp and all my training and have that, have that to come back to when I did come back to my unit and was able to work in my unit and help out where I was needed. So, I enlisted, I enlisted as a 42 Alpha, which I realized very quickly was not what I meant for and not what I wanted to do. So I tried to be more active. And like I said, when I got out of training and I got to my unit, I signed up for protection and I was able to, do military police work on post and kind of do stuff like that. So my time in the military was pretty awesome. I enjoyed it. And like I said, it got me to the next step in my life.
Yeah, well, fantastic. And thank you very much for your service. Now, Kayla, you also dropped some hints that, you had a track career and I understand you still hold like a high school record in hurdles. Am I correct?
Yep. So I was pretty quick in the hurdles and I was a sprinter for sure. So my coach was pretty adamant on pushing me and putting me in the highest level to compete. And, she honestly got me to where I was in track and field. So.
Yeah. And your athleticism doesn't end there. You also have a background in MMA fighting. You want to talk a little bit about that and how you got into that?
Yeah, so the thing is when I was younger, I've always been very hyper competitive and always wanted to be the fastest, the best at everything I did. I had two sisters and we were like the boys in the neighborhood, always growing up, beating up the boys and trying to beat the boys and all that stuff. So always kind of been athletic and putting myself in different competitive things like track and whatever else I could. I didn't grow up, my family didn't grow up very financially wealthy or anything like that. So I knew that if I was going to be great or if I was going to make anything out of myself, it was going to have to be with me and my talent and my drive. And that's honestly what drove me to do track and field and do so well. And that's what drove me to keep on going after that ended and join the military. And when I was in the military, we got involved in combatives, of course. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I did a little bit of boxing back in college. So when I got out, I had a friend that was at the Bulls gym in Alexandria, Louisiana. And he said, come over to the gym and come and do some rounds with us, do some sparring. And I was like, cool, that's awesome. So before I knew it, my coach was in there training me every night, getting me ready for my first fight. And I couldn't believe it. When I got done with MMA, I was 2-0. And so it was pretty cool experience. But after, like I said, I'm a little boy, I didn't really want to keep on fighting. So that's whenever I turned my attention to ATV motocross, and ultimately that competing in ATV motocross and being competitive in ATV motocross is what got me into Monster Jam.
Okay, very good. Now, again, before we leave the MMA conversation, I want, obviously there's tons of Monster Jam drivers who are athletic and really fit. Who out there on the tour would give you a run for your money in the ring? Is there?
I mean, I could say Cynthia Gauthier. She's pretty spicy, man. And
Yeah.
she's an athlete as well. And she's always in the gym working out. So she's a very strong competitor. So, like we're just out here trying to be strong female competitors and show all these little girls that, being physically fit and doing all these things for yourself, it's going to help you in the long run.
Yeah. And actually, Cynthia was someone we talked to last year. Yeah, she's great. And we talked a little bit about that Titan games that she did with The Rock and
Yes,
everything.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So Kayla, you mentioned that the ATV motocross stuff is kind of what got you into motorsports and
Yeah.
ultimately got you here to Monster Jam. So
Yeah.
you want to just elaborate a little bit about that path and that switch?
Absolutely. So like I said, I kind of put my fighting career aside. And whenever I'm a little boy, my husband had always raced ATVs and raced competitively as well. So, I grew up riding ATVs and playing in the mud and doing all this fun stuff. So he said, we were going to go ahead and get me a bike after I have a little boy. And that's what I was going to do. I was going to compete on ATVs and we were going to have fun at the track as a family. And it was pretty awesome being able to go to the track and hang out at the track all weekend with the Moto family. And, that's always a great community to be a part of. But yeah, so we got very competitive in ATV motocross. I did the first ATV Supercross at Daytona in 2015. And I think I was able to come out for the 5th place. But yeah, it was pretty awesome, man. And going into Monster Jam, we would just go to Monster Jam on the weekends sometimes, just go to have fun and do intermission and race ATVs. Quad Wars is what they used to call it. And so, well, we were just there having a good time, not getting paid for it, nothing like that. And, all the drivers are standing by their trucks at pit party signing and taking pictures. And I never once in a million years thought that could actually be me by the truck signing autographs instead of sitting on my ATV. So like I said, man, we were there having a great time and I was there racing. And I remember doing very well that night against some of the guys out there. And it was about a week later that we had done a Monster Jam event and they had got in contact with me about auditioning to drive. And I honestly just couldn't believe it. And like I said, it's just literally like one thing led to the other and just taking advantage of these opportunities. And I still get emotional when I talk about it. So I'm gonna try to keep my stuff together. But
Yeah,
so
awesome.
after they came out with the Monster Jam Triple Threat series is where we raced the ATVs, side by sides, and the Monster Jam trucks all in one event. So I was perfect for that event, and that's what they trained me for. And I went out and trained at Monster Jam University on every aspect of the event. And then before I knew it, I had my own Monster Jam seat, which you're doing good once you have that seat made for you and your name's on that seat. So I knew at that point things were looking up. So like I said, that's kind of how I got into Monster Jam. And I love being a part of the Triple Threat series. If I didn't do too well in the Monster Jam truck or speedster, I always had the ATV to fall back on. I knew I was going to be able to rip around some of the guys and get some extra points there. So that was always cool. But now we are in, like I said, I was in a stadium tour this past year, solely just worried about the Monster Jam truck. Worried about racing, two-wheel skills, and freestyle. And it was so awesome to be out of the smaller arenas too, and not have to worry about the boundaries and all that stuff. So I had a great year. I learned a lot, and it was awesome being able to compete in some of these places that we went and competed in.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I understand you started in El Toro Loco. Is
Yes.
that the first truck that you drove for?
Yes, sir. So I drove the yellow El Toro Loco for some time and then the orange El Toro Loco. And so I want to say I've been in Soldier Fortune now for about 4 years, 3 years maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is Soldier Fortune a truck that, obviously it connects with you in a number of different ways, but was that a truck made specifically for you, or was that a truck that was already out there that you got to transition to?
So Soldier Fortune was previously driven by Chad Fortune. It debuted in 2015 as a tribute to the men and women in uniform. So like you said, I'm a veteran myself. So be able to go out there and represent this Monster Jam truck in particular and to represent for our men and women, it's always an extra motivation, an extra fire that I keep under me to go out there and do well, because when I don't do well, and I don't hit my marks like I want, I feel really bad. And I put a lot of pressure on myself because I want to make my fans happy, especially the men and women in uniform, and also we have the little girls out there that are wanting the women to be successful. And we want to show them that we can be successful in the same playing field as males.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Kayla, something I like asking the drivers of Monster Jam is, besides the Soldier Fortune truck that you get to drive now, is there another truck that just has always interested you, or one that's your favorite body style and stuff like that?
So I've always loved Maximum Destruction. I'm a big Tom Mintz fan. My husband drives Maximum Destruction, so it's pretty cool. And there's no females that drive that Monster Jam truck, so it'll be pretty cool to see if maybe one day they put a female in that Monster Jam truck. Now, like I said, I love driving Soldier Fortune, but if that female is me and Maxie, that's fine too. So I love driving all of the Monster Jam trucks, and just it's pretty cool. The different characters, like El Toro Loco was always cool. The kids love the smoke that comes out of El Toro Loco's nose. So
Yeah.
you just interact with the fans in different ways. Like I really like Soldier Fortune. I can get on top of the truck and actually do push-ups after a run. So that's always really fun, especially after you lay down a really solid freestyle run and you do a backflip and then you get on the truck and you do push-ups. Like if that's not making a little girl believe that women can do this, then I don't know what is.
So make sure you get your score in before we lock the scores.
Anaheim, I would never tell you to stop applauding, but you got to take a moment to use those hands to lock in a score for that woman right there. Some of that controlled chaos we are used to seeing at the hands of Kayla Blood. She is looking for her first freestyle win.
And speaking of those different, the different things that you guys have to do during a show, what would you say is some of the hardest stuff that you guys have to do in the monster truck?
So one of the events that I kind of struggled with at the beginning of the season was two-wheel skills. And, these guys, you have Ryan Anderson, Tyler Meninga, Bari Musauer, you have all these amazing talented drivers going out there and doing all of these moves, these stoppies, sidewalls. And I mean, it never fails. Ryan and Tyler are going to go out there and do some insane move that makes them completely forget about yours. So you got to go out there and be very skillful, but be on the ragged edge at the same time. And it's really crazy because, you mess up a lot, obviously, when you're trying these different moves, and you just got to figure out your truck, figure out the balance. And honestly, just sometimes you have those perfect moves, and then sometimes it just doesn't work out. But I started getting very good at the poppers off of the race lane. So those were fun. And then I kind of started doing this thing where I do a big sky wheelie. And if the truck just popped just right, it would go into a stoppie and I'd try to walk it back. So it's like really, really crazy. And then all of a sudden, calm. So like I said, it's like just finding the calm in the chaos. And that was always one of the harder, I think, competitions of the event.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's my understanding that, obviously you get the Monster Jam University training up front, but once you guys are, in competition and on tour, you're really just left to try stuff out, in competition. You don't have a lot of training opportunities after that.
No, yeah. So your seat time is competition time. So, and for us newer drivers, we are very fortunate to get the training that we have, because the guys back in the day didn't really get all the training and the time to focus on different things, to work on techniques like we do now. So it's very beneficial for us and putting on events, especially in smaller arenas where you have to have more skill and you have to be driving level headed, get crazy a little bit, but you have to watch your boundaries, so that's another reason why I love the stadiums, man. It's just been so amazing, just letting the truck fly, racing, you just drift in pins. And I always kind of check myself a lot in racing when it comes to arenas, because depending on the dirt, you never know where the ruts are, and they grab that truck and it happens so fast, and before you know it, you're on your lid. So I really like racing, just letting it all hang out.
Yeah. So this might be you might have just answered my next question, but is there a favorite aspect of what you guys do during a show that you like the most? And then when it comes to tricks and the freestyle stuff, is there a favorite trick that you have?
So I really like freestyle. You obviously have to get past 30 seconds before you're able to get a score. You're disqualified. So the first 30 seconds, it's always kind of sketchy because you want to start out strong, but you also want to be a little level-headed and be safe, kind of know where you're going for a few turns. And then after your crew chief comes on the radio and is like 30 seconds in, you just want to go absolutely crazy. So by then the sway bars might have tweaked a little bit, so your truck's leaning this way or that way. So there's so many different things going on within the run that can happen. But whenever the truck's 100%, you're 100%, everything's going right. It's an amazing feeling. Like I said, this past year, I won my first stadium freestyle competition in Anaheim. So that was pretty awesome run that night. We came out of the gate with big air, did a backflip, went over the big freestyle jump into a sidewall save, and then ripped some donuts. But man, it was just like everything was going right. Everything was happening, and it was crazy, but it was awesome at the same time. And we got out on the truck and did some push-ups. And so we were able to take the freestyle win that night, and it was a dream come true, honestly. So Angel Stadium in Anaheim will always have a place in my heart for sure.
Very good. Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
So Kayla, you've been driving for a number of years now. Are there other Monster Jam drivers that you look up to currently, or did look up to when you first got started? And were there some drivers that you kind of modeled your driving after, or is it something that's just been uniquely your own as you've gotten more into it?
Yeah, so coming into Monster Jam, of course, I looked up to Tom Mintz, I looked up to Jim Kohler, Charlie Polkin, and all your veteran drivers. And I honestly, I struggled when I first started. So it was really hard mentally, just keeping myself together and going out there and doing what I had to do and not letting myself get in my head. But because I wanted to prove myself to these guys and prove to them that I'm a competitor. I didn't just get this job as a pretty face to do interviews or anything like that. Like, I'm here to compete. I'm a competitor. I'm a racer. And at the end of the day, I want to learn. So teach me everything you know. So I asked questions to all of them, and, so they were there for me. They've given me advice. And so even everyone that I'm on tour with every year, whether it be Ryan, Tyler, you just kind of watch them, and you take what serves you and you let go of the rest. Like, every driver is different. So they're going to give you some advice and you're going to see some things, but you eventually just learn your driving and what is going to serve you. And so, the veteran drivers, I've always looked up to them. And then Ryan Anderson and all the Andersons, their family and everything that they've done for the sport's been absolutely amazing. So, I just, like I said, I want to prove myself. So to everyone that I do look up to, I have modeled myself after their driving, and I've learned a lot from them. But I do have a list of drivers, which veteran drivers mostly. And it started with Gary Porter. And I said, every time I beat one of these veteran drivers in racing, I'm going to write down their names. So I got Gary Porter, I got Tom Mintz, Ryan Anderson, Jim Kohler, and Charlie Polkin. So I'm still working, but I have all of them. And like I said, it's just pretty cool to know they taught me. Tom is the very first one that got into my Monster Jam truck and showed me my gears. And this is how you want to race. This is how you want to shift when you're racing. And that meant so much to me that he took the time, stopped everybody from what they were doing, and got in my truck to show me that. So like I said, just to be able to go out there and compete with them, all the ones that were teaching me, and just learn from everybody. That's part of it. You're learning constantly. You don't ever want to stop learning about the truck. And I'm not very mechanical. I can't do a lot of stuff like that. But, like I said, I'm a competitor, I'm a racer, and I'm going to be there to learn from them, whatever they're willing to show me, and, just build a great relationship with my team, honestly.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, Kayla, you mentioned a couple times you have a son. Do you want to mention his name and how old he is now?
Yep. So I have a son and I have a stepdaughter. My son's name's Austin. He's 10 now, and my stepdaughter's Riley, and she's 12. So they love the fact that we both drive Monster Jam trucks. They think it's pretty cool, especially when they're able to go out there and we're out there at pit party signing autographs, and they love it. But my son's very humble about it. He's been to lots and lots and lots of Monster Jam shows. So sometimes he goes now and he's probably on his phone the whole time or doing something. I'm like, son, are you ever going to watch the event anymore? So, but like I said, no, it's pretty cool, like to have this platform, like I said, not only for the little girls, but for my kiddos to see, we're working hard and we have dreams and we're going to chase those dreams, and they know whatever they want to do, we're going to help them do the same thing. So whether it be football, Monster Jam trucks, whatever it is, she rides horses. So I always like to say she has the real horsepower, her. So you never know what these kiddos are capable of. So you just got to give them, let them try a little bit of everything. And that's honestly what I've done in my life. And he sees that now. He sees me driving monster trucks and traveling and doing all this fun stuff. Of course, it is hard to leave your family the first quarter of the year. We have events every weekend, so it gets pretty hard. We have a very good support system home. My mother-in-law, she and my sister-in-law, they are absolute rock stars when it comes to helping us out with the kiddos and just having everybody where they need to be, and so we can keep on chasing these dreams.
Yeah, that's excellent. Now that was going to be my follow-up, is just with you and your husband being out there driving, what that kind of looks like, the home balance with the tour and the travel. But that's awesome to have some family there to rely on, and that's great.
Absolutely. Yeah, because like I said, it could get kind of crazy at the beginning of the year, but we know that it's going to settle down after a little bit, so we just got to make it there.
Yeah. Now, Kayla, something else I wanted to ask is just from a motorsports standpoint in general, it's still a very male dominated industry, that is racing. So from a woman's perspective, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the maybe adversity that you might have overcome doing the ATV racing and motocross, and now being a Monster Jam driver? What's it kind of been like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, like you said, we're in male dominated sports. So anytime a woman tries to go out there and do what these men are doing, you're always going to have doubters, haters, people that not believing, and you got to make them believe, showing them what you're capable of. And we go out there, we win races. No one can take racing away from you. That's not voted upon. So that's always a really awesome event to win, especially for a female to go out there and win racing like Lindsay Reed did when she went to World Finals and she completely dominated racing all the way around. That's how you do it. And that's the thing about being a female in a male dominated sport. We go out there just as much as these men do. And if we fail, we're looked at a little harsher, I believe, than the men are sometimes. Like we have to work 10 times harder in this field to gain the credibility that some of the guys do. And we go out there and all eyes are on us. And, sometimes when you're at events, guys, I'm just going to go out there and do what I can do. And like, that's not the case for any of these women. And I know that for a fact, because I know every time we go out on that track and we don't hit our marks and we don't do the things that we want to do, that we're very upset about it. And we try not to let it get in our heads, but it's a male dominated sport. So if you're not out there winning, you're not out there being successful, then you got some homework to do. And so that's exactly what we do. We just go back to the drawing board every time, and we try, in every event that we go out there for racing, two-wheel skills, freestyle, we try and go out there and hit our marks and be a powerful woman out there to show all little girls that we can do this. And being a female in a male dominated sport is something that women, we belong here, so, and that's the thing, we have to prove that we belong here. And that's why I love being a part of it. I feel like I said, everything I've done has kind of got me to where I am now, and I've built for this. I've gone through the struggle. I've had great moments. I've had bad moments, and you just got to keep on pushing past those moments and keep on proving yourself and make history in Monster Jam, honestly. So that's what my goal is, to make history in Monster Jam as a female. And so I'm waiting on that opportunity, and I'm not going to stop until I do something great or something awesome happens. So, you never know, like you really don't. And it's a 12,000-pound Monster Jam truck. So you're hoping and praying that everything is 100% every time you go out there, but stuff happens. So we'll see. Let's see what the future holds.
Absolutely. Well, that's a good mindset to have, and it's definitely good to have that drive to accomplish what you need to accomplish.
Yes.
And I always give Monster Jam a lot of kudos. Seems every year there's another, 2, 3, 4 female drivers out there, representing the women. And it seems like you guys are almost 50-50. You know, don't quote me on those numbers. I'm sure I'm not accurate, but it seems pretty darn close. And that's cool to see.
Yeah, no doubt. All the females are super awesome, super talented and competitive. And it's pretty cool because we all bring something different to the table. And, so you have Kristen and Gravedigger and Cynthia and Brianna and Miranda. So, I mean, we all have the same goal. Like I said, at the end of the day is to get out there and be successful for all the ladies. But it's pretty cool to be a part of some strong women like this.
Absolutely. Kayla, I wanted to move on to just some memorable moments for you now that you've been doing it a few years. You mentioned winning freestyle in Anaheim recently as being a highlight. Aside from that, does anything else stand out that you've been able to accomplish in the last couple of years?
So obviously winning your first event championship is pretty awesome. So I was able to do that. I want to say that was in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So that was an awesome event. Other than that, I was able to win my first stadium racing last year. So it was pretty crazy because we had came out of COVID and all of that crazy stuff and was just now getting back to driving. And it was actually my first event back from being away for a while. And so I went into East Rutherford, not really expecting anything jazzy to happen, going out there and just going to try to do my best like always and have fun. And, like I said, it was the first time back after not driving after months and months. And we're supposed to have an event on Saturday. Well, it came downpour and completely washed out everything. So Sunday was the event and it dried up beautifully. The dirt dried up beautifully. It was an amazing day. And I went out there and I won racing. To start off the whole event, I won racing. And I said, I just came back from all the COVID and stuff, we were away for so long and it was my first event back and I was not expecting that to happen at all. We took out Tom Mintz, Ryan Anderson, and Buddy Tompkins, and that's the way we started off Sunday. And I just could not believe it because Saturday was a mess. And then here comes Sunday. I was like, well, I have no idea what to expect, but that's like I said, that's the thing. You never know what's going to happen. So we went out there. I won my first stadium racing a championship. So that was pretty crazy. And then, the rest of the event was pretty awesome, but that was also another highlight. And like I said, Anaheim, winning freestyle there, and Anaheim alone is just absolutely insane. The fans there are so loud and you're just pumped up driving into the stadium, period. Like it's insane out there.
Yeah. And I was going to ask if you had a favorite venue or favorite city that you've gotten to visit on tour. Maybe it is Anaheim, but if there's something different, let me know.
Yeah, I would say Anaheim, and that's pretty much my favorite so far right now. Yeah, because like I said, this is my first year to do stadium tours or stadium championship series. So I was able to experience a lot of awesome stadiums this year, which another thing is pretty cool because you go into these arenas and all these arenas are awesome. They're really nice, but you walk into these stadiums and it's like so real. Like I can't even believe I was competing in some of these stadiums. So it's all surreal. And, like I said, Anaheim was awesome. So that's definitely my favorite for sure.
Very good. Now, Kayla, you're from Louisiana originally. So I wanted to know if there's something, quintessentially Louisiana that you want to share with the audience or with your fans. Is there a saying or a food or place people need to visit to experience Louisiana? What do you got?
Well, we just went out of crawfish season, so I'm pretty sad about that, but we love crawfish here. And if you haven't ever tried crawfish, you have to try some for sure. But so it's hot and humid here. We have crawfish, so we have great food. So who needs anything else, right?
Very good. And Kayla, I'll leave you with this, just a forward-thinking future question. Obviously you started out in the Triple Threat series, and now you're doing the Stadium series, and getting to see some of those bigger venues. Let me know what's kind of on the horizon for you. Maybe personally, the tricks you want to try to accomplish, or things within the series that you want to accomplish? What's kind of on the horizon for you?
Yeah, so I definitely want to. I have a few more events going on at the end of this year for the rest of the summer. Some are in arenas, but I do have a few in stadiums and bigger floors. So I'm just going to take that time to really focus on racing and just really meshing with my truck and being 100% there. And when it comes to freestyle, we've got to get bigger air. I need bigger air in my arsenal, so I'm going for it, and I'm going to try and win some freestyle competitions this summer. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, you never know, but I'm going to go out there guns blazing and try to do the best that I can, like I do every time.
Very good. Well, Kayla, we really appreciate you giving us some time to chat and give people a glimpse into, what you've been up to over the years in Monster Jam and what you're doing now and in the future. Let the people know where they can maybe follow you on social media. Do you have a few channels that people can interact with you on?
Yep, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Kayla Blood Granger is how you should be able to find me. So if you type in Kayla Blood, it should pop up. There's not many of those out there.
Yeah, you got a nice unique name for sure.
Yep.
Very good. Well, guys, make sure you're checking out Kayla and following along. Make sure you're checking out Monster Jam. And as always, please check out Engine Builder for more engine content. And we appreciate y'all watching. Kayla, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.